Hey everyone, and welcome back to ExtremeRigs.net. Today we have another GTX 980 water block review for you. This is the GTX 980. It is a reference compatible circuit board, so we're looking at reference compatible blocks, and today's is from Koolance. Koolance, of course, have been around for a while. They're based up in Washington State, although recently they seem to be moving a lot of their engineering, but certainly their manufacturing out to Korea. So this is their 980 block. You can see it has the kind of Koolance logo on there. Maybe if I rotate it the right way, you can see better. But it's a fairly simple and clean look, which we like. It's very distinctively Koolance. You know, they've been doing this style for a couple of generations now. It is not full cover, so you will see some circuit board exposed. Not a full cover block. Also, this is one of only two blocks that does not come with a backplate as an option or included at all. There is no Koolance backplate. And that's okay for this generation because the GTX 980 comes with a backplate. That is, unless you get the EVGA one that's reference compatible but does not have a backplate. So the good news is that this can be used whether you have the backplate or not. So the screws, even though they're supposed to go through the backplate, they still do give the same results if you use it without a backplate. So the screws are Phillips heads. They're nice. There's no complaints there. On the top side we get two input options and two output options. It's hard to see because I have these black stop plugs in that Koolance sent us. On the back here you can see, again, this is the typical Koolance kind of black nickel kind of finish. And you can see there's a bunch of thermal pads on here. Koolance give you some big sheets of thermal pads of two different thicknesses, 0.7 and 1.0 millimeter. And so you can see they're cooling the memory, the VRMs, and then they're also cooling a bunch of other stuff, including capacitors and some other chips that may or may not need it. One thing I will say, on the 290 version, we complained a bit about the quality on the block. We felt like the machining and the plating wasn't as good as normal. This has been remedied. This is by far the best and highest quality machining we've ever seen out of Koolance, so this is great. So let's move on to performance. First off, with respect to restriction, the block, like 80% of the other ones, is very acceptable. It's not the least restrictive block, but it's clearly in the pack of the good behaving blocks, I should say. So, you know, our usual metric that I like to think of as the limit on restriction is to have less than 1 pound per square inch of back pressure at 1 gallon per minute. And this, I believe, is about 0.7, 0.8 kind of thing. So very acceptable. In terms of thermal performance, this with the core cooling was very much in the big group in the middle. So again, decent core cooling. And same thing with the VRM temperatures. Again, not the best, but still very acceptable and a lot better than the worst performance. Really, this is quite a quick one because it's quite easy. Essentially, it's almost like this block was second on every metric. It wasn't the best core cooling, it wasn't the best VRM cooling, it wasn't the least restrictive. So it's a very solid performer, and we like the block. There's nothing wrong with this. So the Koolance is definitely a good choice. We like it, and if this is the look you want, there's nothing to stop you getting this. Very good performer. So that's it from me for now. Stay tuned, subscribe to the channel if you like what we're doing. The reviews on the website are more detailed, so if you want more information on this, check out the website review in the comments underneath.